Hey there, come on in.
Delivering our brand new stew.
Oh, wonderful.
How's everyone doing? Good. Awesome. All right. Good to see you.
So have you been watching the recordings? Do you know what the secret word is on the board meeting, or is that gibberish? This. Do you know what this is or no? It's okay if you say no. Nobody would know unless I told them.
No, so
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. So there's a website called mathematize.com. .com? .com. If you go to this website, you can try to make an account quickly, and then if you enter in this code, it will take you to a poll, and then you can enter in which option you think is correct, and everybody does it, and then we have like a discussion. So that's what this means. So take a few minutes, try to, if you can quickly make an account, you can do it. Otherwise, if you don't do it today, that's okay. You can try. Yeah. Okay, so it is 10 o'clock. We're going to start with this question. We left off on what does significant mean. In the last 5 minutes, we had this discussion about what does significant mean. And so we're going to start with a question about what is significant one more time. Before we do this, I just want to say a couple words about the project, which is coming up. And I did some updates, so there's a lot more detail on what exactly you need to do. There is more detail. There is also, let me read this in order. So last time I gave you the housing data train.csv that had all the data about some house sales and said, please make a model. Some people worked on it, which is great. Now there is another data set called housing data test.csv. So there's two data sets. In housing data test, I did not give you the sale price. So that's the thing you're trying to predict. You have to predict it on the test set. And there is a leaderboard where you can submit what you think the prices are of those houses in housing data test, and it will calculate the root mean squared error based on what you submit. Okay? And then it's going to put everybody's here. You can put in a fake name if you want. So I put in my name as Mihang Test because I was testing it, which I guess it's stuck now. I could probably resubmit it. But anyway, you can put in anything you want. If you don't want to put in your real name, that's fine. But it's going to calculate the root mean squared error. My root mean squared error was $70,000. So I was off by typically $70,000 on predicting the houses. You do have to follow a specific format, which is explained in this sheet. Let me see. So this is, you can get to it from the GitHub, but this is an example of what you can do. So first, I made the model, I loaded the training data set here in Pandas, and then I ran a really simple linear regression. You could run it in whatever you want. I used scikit-learn. In the book, they also use SM, which stands for stats models or something, and then they also use a different one. So you can use anything you want. That's fine. I ran a linear regression. Here is what my linear regression looks like. So the blue one are actual houses. All I did is I looked at how big is the lot area. So I said, lot area, that matters. How much land are you buying? And then on the y-axis is the sale price. The blue ones are the real prices, and the red one is my prediction. So is my prediction very good? Not really. Could be better. But that's okay. That's a good first try. So I ran that, and then I took housing data test, and then I fed in the lot area into my prediction. I told please predict it, and I took the output, and there's a set of steps you have to do to make sure that the computer will accept it, which are a little bit silly, because I spent an hour wrestling with the auto grader, and the auto grader won, so I gave up. And we're doing it this weird way. You just have to follow what it says. So first of all, you have to make it a list. I said always use arrays when you can. You can't use an array because the autograder will yell you. So you have to use a list, and they have to be integers. So you cannot predict decimal cents. Of course, you can just predict it and then round it off. But for it to fit in the computer, you have to round to the nearest dollar. So I thought the first house will cost $176,575, and so on. And then you have to take this list. You literally, I want you to click here and copy and paste it, and you have to make a function called myAnswerList. Okay? You make a function called myAnswerList, you copy and paste the list you put in. It's going to have 400 things in it. And then you save this into a file called calculator.py. It has to be calculator.py. If you call it something else, it will not work. And then you submit that file, calculator.py, to the autograder, and then the autograder will look at what you wrote and calculate your root mean squared error. So you should do that. That'll be part of the project. How you do on the leaderboard is just for fun. It doesn't matter. So if you come in last place, you come in first place. It's all just for fun. Maybe I'll give out some like donut prizes or something to the top 3 winners or something like that. But it does not count for your grade. For your actual grade, you have to submit 2 files. The details of the files are here. These are the same 2 files I told you about last time. So you have to do one where you do the best model you can find, your best performance. That would be what you submit to the leaderboard. And these are the sections you should have in your explanation: an executive summary, data preprocessing, modeling and model tuning, where you try things, and how you got the final model. So what did you do at the end? And almost all of your grade is explanations. So if you have a really great model that works really well and calculates the prices right on, but you didn't explain it very well, then you will not get a good grade. So most of it is explanation. I want to see really clear explanation. I want you to use sections and subsections and pictures and explain it to me like I'm a human being who is trying to read and understand what you're doing. Because I am a human being who's trying to read and understand what you're doing. That's one file. You're going to submit another file. This file is almost like a report to somebody, like if you're a real data scientist, a report. Here's what I did to predict what movies people would click on at Netflix. The second one is like you're a teacher, okay? You're going to explain to somebody overfitting versus underfitting, and you're going to explain using the data set. So you can tune some parameter in the data set, maybe the number of variables you used, maybe the distance, the window size like we did, and I want you to have a nice explanation in your own words, what does overfitting and underfitting mean, and how can you see it in the data set? And I want you to show that U-shaped curve, so give me a graph where there's that U-shaped curve in the error, where it goes up and down, and then you have the sweet spot in the middle. And I want you to show the training error. And the training error, when you overfit, can go down to 0, right? You can get really low training error. It looks like you're doing really well, but actually you're overfitting. I want you to show me that too. And so the second part is like you're explaining, and I want you to really convince me that you have a good understanding of what is overfitting versus underfitting, and you can show it off in the data set. Is this a little too small? Maybe I should zoom in a little. Okay. There is also some rules at the end here about using something like ChatGPT or talking to people. Both of those are okay. You have to make sure to say whenever you're doing that. And I don't want you to make like the whole project from what somebody else said or what ChatGPT said. So saying something like, what is the numpy command to sum an array? Totally fine. Saying something like, given this housing data set, write a program to show overfitting versus underfitting. That's not okay. Okay. So there's some rules there. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to let me know. And you need to, in all cases, you need to clearly say, I got help from ChatGPT, or I got help from my friend Steve, or whatever. And that's totally fine, so just make sure you mark. So that is the project. And reminder, the first draft is due next Friday. That first draft will not be graded for marks, but it will be sent around to other people in the class, and you will all give each other peer feedback. And then the final deadline is 1 week after that. Any questions or comments about the first project, or about the leaderboard, or anything like that? Okay, you'll also have a chance to ask me again on Thursday in person, or you can always post on CampusWire. It's a great spot to ask questions. Feel free to post there anytime. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Probably if you haven't had a chance to play with it yet, you'll probably want to play with it, and then you will come up with some questions. Okay, so that's the project. For the rest of the class, we're going to work on understanding some aspects